Hi guys, this is my first video. I'm a bit nervous, I'm not gonna lie. I have decided to do this because it's really been a long time coming for me and a YouTube channel. Like, I've loved YouTube since I was little. Like, I've always just wanted to have a channel where I can just do what I love. And what I love is books. It really is, like, honestly. I've always loved books since I was younger, but I've always kind of like got into a slump and then not got out of it because I never used to see the point in getting out of it. But now I do. There's so many books that I want to read that I'm like, I get myself out of the slump so that I can read the books that I want to read. But yeah, so this first video is gonna be a March reading wrap up. I read 12 books this month. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's not right. I feel like I might be missing one. Oh yeah, 12, because I read one on Kindle. So I'm going to start off with these bad boys, the Mortal Instruments series. So I read City of Bones in February. These books, honestly, I've not yet really dived into fantasy yet. This is my first like taste of fantasy. I love them. I honestly love them. Like, it took me a while to really like understand it and get into it, but once I did, I was so in love. Like, I honestly, like, the characters are beautiful. So I'm gonna tell you my ratings for each of them. I've honestly got to now remember my ratings, which I've completely forgotten. Came back and I remembered what I rated them, I think. So I rated this one 4 stars. I honestly, if you ask me why I rated it 4 stars, I can't tell you. I read it a month ago and there's no memory of what happened in this book anymore. City of Glass, I rated a 4.5. This was my favourite out of the first 3. This one really, like, the first 3 were kind of like building up, and then this one was like, oh my god, I'm hooked now, like, give me more. This, like, I got to like, I don't know, this way through this one, I thought, am I actually feeling this series? Like, and then I literally turned a page and I was like, yes I am. So this one I love. 4.5, nearly a 5, but not quite. I don't know, I think it was just this part of the book was so boring to me, but then like the rest of it was brilliant. City of Fallen Angels was a 4 star for me. Again, I can't really remember what happened in this book. I'm pretty sure though, in these last 3 books, I just loved Simon's character. Simon's character was absolutely amazing, and that's what I really enjoyed about the last 3 books. City of Lost Souls, I loved. I loved this because this showed me the most of Simon's character, and I sobbed so many times. This was a 5-star read. This had me like crying, like I was so invested, and I just loved it. I loved every minute of it. And then the same for City of Heavenly Fire. Are you joking me with that ending? I'm not gonna spoil it, but I was crying for ages. It was so, honestly, like, I read like 100 pages on one day, and then I literally read like 500 pages the next. I could not put it down. I was so obsessed, and I can't wait to start the Infernal Vices series. One thing I will say though is that I wish I read the first 3 books, then the Infernal Vices series, and then the last 3 books, because there's a lot of mention of a certain character that I know is in the Infernal Vices series. Well, 3 characters even, like all the characters that kind of mentioned. But I know they exist, but I don't know anything about them, do you know what I mean? So I kind of wish like the ending of this book would have hit a lot harder if I'd read Infernal Devices. Let me tell you that. Next we have the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. I just have the second and third book because I read the first book on Kindle because I had the physical copy like years ago, and I read it years ago, and I remember I absolutely loved it. And my mum bought me this for Christmas, and then I bought myself this one. So I was like, I need to reread the first one because I cannot remember what happened. So I just read it on Kindle, and let me tell you, this series has a special place in my heart. So the first one, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, is definitely a 5-star for me. It just has everything you could want in like a YA thriller. Like, it is so perfect. Pip's character is perfect, Robbie's character is perfect, and everything is so perfect, and you don't expect like the twist to happen. You don't expect it. Like, it's even though it's YA, it's still such a good mystery thriller. Like, it's so good. And the next one, the second one, A Good Girl Bad Blood, this is also a 5-star for me. I loved this one, and honestly, I can't say much without spoiling, but same kind of vibe. Like, she has to work out a murder, and it's just, I don't know, it's just the way they're written. It's like I'm watching the film play out, and everything is so perfect. Everything is so perfect. So yeah, 5 stars. And then we have As Good as Dead, which is the last book in the trilogy. This was a 4. And it got knocked down to a 4 because I really didn't like what happened to Pip's character. It was honestly just... I loved the book. I loved the mystery. I loved all of it. But what... I'm trying not to spoil it, but like the way they did Pip's character in this was so, like, it was completely against everything that she stood for. Like, she's really for the truth, and it just didn't sit right with me what they did, what Holly Jackson did, may I say. I absolutely still love the book, and I still recommend to read it. Yeah, so that was why it was a 4 and all 5, because I still loved it, but I just didn't like what they did to Pip's character. I would say this series as a whole is a 5-star series. This is probably my favourite series, maybe on par with the Twisted series, but yeah, this is definitely a 5-star series, and I absolutely love it. So I read King of Wrath. This book is by Anna, I'm gonna butcher it, Anna Huang, and she did the Twisted series, and I absolutely loved the Twisted series. Like, loved it. Like, oh my god, it really got me back into the swing of reading. I just devoured them. I loved them. So I thought, I'm gonna love it. How can I not love it? I didn't. Like, I really just, it was a 3-star read for me. It was a good story. I read it, I kind of enjoyed it, but it was just, I felt like there was no chemistry between the characters, and the storyline I felt like had been done a million times, and it wasn't done any better than anyone else. It's a marriage of convenience type thing, and I just didn't feel any connection towards the characters, and I just didn't really care for them. But I don't know if that was just because I went from a series that I'd loved so much into this, and it just wasn't giving what I wanted, I guess. I am gonna read King of Pride. Yeah, that's the next one, King of Pride, when it comes out, just because a lot of people hated Twisted Love and then loved the rest of the series, but I love Twisted Love, I can't lie. But yeah, hopefully that's the same. I might not like King of Wrath, but I might like King of Pride. The next one is a Colleen Hoover book. I should have learned my lesson. I honestly should have learned my lesson by now. I read Ends of Us, Ugly Love, and Verity. I did like Verity, to be honest, but Ugly Love, I hated. It ends with us. I liked it at the time, but looking back, what the hell was that? But I saw this on TikTok and I was like, do you know what, I'll pick it up. Like, it looks interesting. It's, if they said it was kind of like Verity vibes, it's not at all, by the way. But I was like, I like Verity, I'll pick it up, I'll have a look. This book, I'll give it that, it had me quite hooked. It did have me hooked because I just wanted to like know why, like I wanted to understand what was going on. Please do not pick up this book. Please don't do it. The ending is the worst thing I've ever read in my life. In my life. Like, it honestly felt like such a, oh, actually, I don't actually know how to end this. Let's just do this. Like, the ending was so silly to me. I cannot believe it. Like, the whole book had me so hooked and I was actually so interested, and then the ending was so trash. This book went from being like a 3.5 to a 4 to a 2 stars. There is no way I could recommend this book to anyone because the ending is so bad. It's just so bad. The last book we have, which is the last one that I've fully read this month, is A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime. This book was 3 stars. And I'll tell you why. It was just not it. The characters I felt were so surface level. Like, I didn't feel like I knew the characters at all. Like, I felt like I was just, I don't know, I just felt like I wasn't involved. I will be real with you, the spice in this book is good spice. A lot of people don't like the spice in this book, but I liked it. It was good spice. And there is a lot of debate on the male character Crow. A lot of people think he's very sexist. I understood that. I saw that. I read that. But I kind of like to, I don't know if I'm excusing it, but this is a book about 17-year-olds that are still in school. So I kind of take everything with a pinch of salt when it's about young people, because it's not gonna be like, people act silly in school, do you know what I mean? People don't actually have a brain. So that's how I kind of just take things with a pinch of salt. But this was an adult man, like a 20-something-year-old man, and he was saying these things. Gross. But because he's still a kid, I kind of let it slide. I feel like if you like a good spicy book, go ahead. But if you want to feel really connected to the characters, I don't think so, because I felt like they were so surface level. There was nothing relatable about them at all. But then they are like rich kids. That was it for the books I've read in March. I did start The Secret History a few days ago. I'm still reading it. I usually finish book in like 2 days, 3 days. This is taking me a while. This book so far, I'm not going to give you a definite, but I'd say about a 4 star. I understand why it's such like a modern classic and everyone loves it, but the ancient Greek philosophy is going straight over my head. So I can only enjoy like half the book, because that is what half the book is. Like, because I don't actually understand what on earth they're on about when they're talking about that stuff. But like, it is really beautiful writing, like really gorgeous. Like, I've highlighted so many things that I think is just like, how do you think of these words? Like, how? But yeah, I think that's what's saving it for me, the beautiful writing and the kind of like eeriness of it. Like, I really feel like I get transported into this like eerie dark time. It was 1990 something, but I feel like I'm in a dark time when I'm reading this. So that is my first video done and dusted. Really excited. This is something I've wanted to do for a really long time, and yeah, I hope it all goes well. Thank you guys, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.